A prominent Gaza hospital director is being subjected to various forms of torture and inhumane treatment in an Israeli prison. That is according to a lawyer who's visited Dr Hussam Abu Safiya in Ofer Prison in the occupied West Bank for the first time. Israeli forces detained Abu Safiya during a raid on Kamal Adwan Hospital in northern Gaza in December. His lawyer says the doctor has spent 47 days in arbitrary detention. He was refused access to legal counsel and to a doctor for treatment for his heart condition. Well, the statement released by Dr. Safiya's lawyer reads, at the beginning of his arrest and during his transfer from the Gaza Strip, he was forced to take off his clothes. His hands were tied. He was beaten with an electric stick and hit on the chest. He also stayed in the cells for 25 days in Ofer Prison, including 10 days during which he was subjected to almost continuous interrogation, and he fainted in the cell due to a feeling of suffocation. Let's bring in our correspondent Nour Odeh, who's in Amman, Jordan, for us. She's there because the Israeli government and Palestinian Authority have banned Al Jazeera from reporting in Israel and the occupied West Bank. Nour, the grave concerns that people have had for Dr. Safiya have only been confirmed by his lawyer after their first meeting.
That's right. And really, the story of Dr. Hussam Abu Safiya repeats. There are hundreds of doctors and medical workers who were taken from Gaza by Israeli forces to that notorious inhumane detention camp and then to other Israeli military prisons. Most known of them is Ofer near Ramallah. The Dr. Hussam Abu Safiya has a critical health condition. He has chronic high blood pressure and an enlargement of the heart muscle. But at least his family knows where he is and that he is alive, unlike potentially thousands of others who the UN said have been forcibly disappeared from Gaza, and this remains a chronic concern. It's not clear whether, even if in the context of this fragile ceasefire, if it continues to its conclusion, everybody who was taken from Gaza would be returned home. We saw about 110 released last Saturday, and that was huge relief, not just to their families, but also to everybody else who has missing people, because they asked about whoever else they met over there.
And of course, the thousands of others like him who are in arbitrary detention, who haven't in fact faced charges. Meanwhile, Nour, how is Jordan's King Abdullah's meeting with Donald Trump being viewed, where you are, especially the King's offer of taking in 2,000 sick Palestinian children from Gaza?
Well, the King's offer for treating 2,000 sick children from Gaza, primarily cancer patients, is seen here in Jordan as, highlighting Jordan's role in offering humanitarian assistance. In Gaza in particular, Jordan already has 2 field hospitals. The doctors there from the Royal Medical Services have treated over 86,000 cases in the past 16 months, and there was an entire program for prosthetic limbs ongoing in Gaza. So it is seen as that, not as going along with Trump's plan to uproot Palestinians, but rather to extend a helping hand. And we heard those sentiments echoed by the Jordanian Prime Minister, by the Jordanian Foreign Minister, and even former officials who say Jordan will not compromise on its national security. It will help, but it cannot be the alternative homeland for Palestinians.
Nour, thank you very much for that. Nour Odeh with all the latest live in Amman.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.